All right, so how you would remove the bed on one of these trucks is actually really simple. You'll just have to undo the 3 bolts that hold this on, take the cap off, let that hang inside, of course, with the bed on and everything. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I kind of had to just kind of wing this one. And then you'll have a vent tube that goes down to the rear axle. You'll take that out from underneath of the bed. It's pretty simple, it just kind of pops out. You have a single wiring harness here that goes to the tail lights. This is it. This is all the wiring that's on this truck. And that just connects right into here. So you can actually remove that without even having to do this. And technically you don't need to remove the tail lights to swap the bed unless you're going to transplant everything onto the new bed, which is what we're going to end up doing. This bed's got all these holes all over it for some reason. It's pretty well worn. There's some spots in there where it's starting to rust, and there's a couple cracks that have formed up in here. So I've got a good bed from my old truck that we're just going to swap onto it. So we're just going to take the wiring harness out of this one, swap it into the red one, and then put that bed onto this truck. And the only real differences so far is the red one's came off of a 95, and it doesn't have these holes in it. So it's not a huge deal. I'm not even going to honestly worry about drilling new holes into the box. We just used engine hoist, but honestly, if you got 2 people, these beds are fairly lightweight, so you can kind of lift them up and pull them off by yourselves. I've done it before like that, but this makes it so much easier. So in this case, we had a hook on each end. I just used ratchet straps. The bed itself probably only weighs about 150 or 200 pounds. It's really not all that heavy. Of course, we got some random cattage. But once you get the gas tank neck off of the inside, you undo that single connection here, and then you take all these bolts out. If you live in the Rust Belt or anywhere where you're dealing with a lot of rust, I really feel sorry for you. Because even here in California, and there wasn't really much rust or corrosion, they were still kind of a bear to get out. You need a T55 torque bit, I believe, and I actually ended up using a long 1/2-inch drive ratchet. But like I said, on this bed, because it's a 95, it's an older one, it doesn't have the 2 holes here in the middle on each side of the frame. So once we get this one put in, it'll be pretty simple. As best I can tell, there really is no differences other than that. There's some small things here and there, but even the new tail lights off that 2011 will go onto this one just fine. I would use this harness, but it's got a different connection, and the harness is just secured in there with the little plastic retainer pieces. So it's easy enough, especially when they're both off the vehicle, just to pull the whole harness out and put the new one in. The good thing about these trucks is from basically 93 till the last year, 2011, there was really no major changes other than some cosmetics here and there. So as far as the bodies are concerned, stuff like this is pretty easy to swap. All right, so we've got the new old wiring harness put in. So it takes that connector, connects right into there. And then this is the one off the 95. It's obviously a different connector, so I might actually keep this just to sell it. But everything else lined up. These little connectors right here, these little plastic clips, they went right in just like this. So yes, if you have one of these older trucks and you're doing this and replacing the bed, you're not going to come across too many issues. I did break one of them. Actually, I just broke it out of the tape that held it in, so I just zip tied it back in place and then stuck it up in like that. So now what we're going to do is just lift up the bed by hand, the wheel arches, wheel wells, stick it on. We're going to have to lift it up a certain way, so we clear here and then just forward and just like that. down. Let's see where we're at here. And it's mostly lined up. That's really all there is to it. It's not hard to do. These beds are fairly lightweight in the sense that they're lighter than they look. All right, so with those 3 bolts in, we're just going to sink these down so we can realign the fuel neck. Just like that. And put the gas cap back in. That part's done. So probably the next step would be to start putting the bolts back in through the bed. And like I said, we're not going to do the 2 that went here. There's really no reason to. We'll be just fine using the 6. So I used a little bit of WD-40 on the shanks of these bolts on the threads. And what that'll do is that'll at least prevent rust or any moisture that's inside there. It'll kind of dislodge it, so you won't really have any issues with rust, at least from removing or reinstalling the bolts. So now we can just sink all these down, and there's probably a torque on them, but I'm just gonna see what I can do with this. So 5 more. All 6 of those bolts are in. Now we just have to install the tail lights. Harnesses in. This is all plugged up and everything. I didn't drill any holes into the bottom of here. The other one has holes for this to kind of stick into, but you can just stick it in and shove it up there and it's just fine. So I guess now we can just reinstall the headlight or the tail lights. And then off camera, I'm gonna pressure wash out the bed, and then I've got a plastic bed liner we can stick in the back of this. So we got the bed on, everything went on perfectly fine. The 2011 tail lights went in perfect. Gas cap and everything is good. Everything's all lined up. Got the tailgate on. Just had this all apart and I lubed that up with some grease. So this is the end result. Got the old bed liner put in. This thing is been around too many summers here because it's starting to bow out in a couple places, so I'm gonna have to sink a screw through here too. I put 2 there. Then I put 1 there, 1 in that corner, 1 over here, and then 1 over there. It'll get the job done. But it came out pretty good, pretty straight. He's planning on getting this painted up at some point. Doesn't know what color he's going to do just yet. But I also found the little mud flaps for the sides here. So I just have to get hardware for those and put them in. No big deal. But it came out pretty good and he's happy. If you guys enjoyed this video,